Have you ever been there, staring at two phones, top tier, almost identical, and just thinking, "Ugh, which one?" It feels like a small choice, but it really impacts your daily tech life.
Oh, absolutely. It's a classic tech dilemma.
Well, you're definitely not alone. Today, we're tackling that exact puzzle head on.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive into two really anticipated phones. The Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge and its sibling, the S25 Plus.
hmm
Our mission here: cut through the noise, figure out the real trade-offs, the unique perks of each. The goal is that by the end, you'll have what you need to decide which one actually fits your needs.
Yeah, it's so important because, at first glance, they look incredibly similar, almost twins.
Right.
But under the surface, there are these crucial differences. They really affect how you use the phone day to day
Yeah.
and the overall value. And what's interesting is the Edge, it's being called the first of its kind, really pushing that design envelope.
Okay, so let's start right there with the first impression. How they look, how they feel in your hand. The S25 Edge. Wow, it's incredibly thin. That's the first thing you notice. And honestly, it feels really, really comfortable to hold. Super slim.
It's noticeably light, too.
Exactly. A true lightweight, only 163 grams. That's basically the same as the standard S25. It's got a titanium frame, which feels premium, and this distinct camera island on the back. It's a look.
It is.
Now, compare that to the S25 Plus. It feels a bit more, well, substantial. Comes in at 189 grams.
Yeah, you feel that difference. And it uses an aluminum frame. Still very solid, but different.
And the back has maybe a cleaner look, less of a pronounced camera bump.
Right. It's more understated. But what's fascinating, like you said, is how the Edge gets so thin. It's great engineering, no doubt.
Definitely.
But it does hint at potential compromises down the line, even if it feels amazing in the hand.
That's a good point. But despite those differences in feel and weight,
They're both tough. Both have Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the back. Super tough glass, good scratch protection, drop protection.
and the water resistance.
Yep, standard IP68. Dust and water protected. You can dunk them in like 9.5 meters of water for half an hour. They should be fine. So yeah, one feels lighter, slimmer, but they're both built to last.
Okay, so that's the feel, the build. But what happens when you actually turn them on? The visuals, the sound.
Right, the screen experience.
And here, honestly, they're remarkably similar, almost indistinguishable, actually.
Yeah, the displays are pretty much identical.
Both are flat, 6.7-inch LTPO AMOLED screens, which, that tech is fantastic, power efficient, super smooth with up to 120 hertz refresh rate.
Scrolling feels great on both.
And the brightness, we tested them under simulated bright sun, like over 100,000 lux.
Really harsh conditions.
And the Edge hit over 1,600 nits. The Plus, basically the same. Visually identical brightness.
Which just means practically speaking.
Yeah, practically outdoors, harsh sun, bright office lights, whatever. Both screens are excellent. Plenty bright, super clear. You won't see a difference there.
And they both have those under-display ultrasonic fingerprint scanners. Fast, reliable.
The only maybe tiny downside on the display front is no Dolby Vision support.
Which is kind of a Samsung thing anyway, right?
Yeah.
Even their TVs often skip it.
Exactly. So, not a huge shocker, probably not a deal breaker for most.
Okay, what about audio then?
Right. Sound, both have stereo speakers. One firing from the bottom, the other is the earpiece doubling up.
Standard setup. And they sound.
Pretty good. Good volume, decent bass, a solid listening experience overall on both.
But there's a small but.
Yeah, a tiny one. If you really crank the volume to max on the Plus, you can sometimes hear like a tiny bit of rattle in the chassis.
Ah, interesting. So the Edge.
The Edge seems to have maybe a slight edge, literally in clarity right at those peak volumes, which is kind of funny given it's the thinner one.
That is interesting. It makes you wonder how they manage that, keeping the displays identical but having these tiny audio quirks. Engineering trade-offs, I guess.
It really does, and it perfectly sets up where these phones really start to differ in ways that matter a lot to people.
Ah, the cameras.
Yeah.
Always a big one.
Exactly. This is where the paths diverge more clearly. Let's start with the main camera.
Okay.
The Edge packs that massive 200 megapixel sensor borrowed straight from the S25 Ultra.
The big gun.
Right. And outdoors, yeah, you can see it. It delivers a noticeably crisper shot, more fine detail compared to the Plus, which has a 50 megapixel main shooter.
So the Plus shots look.
Still good, but you can see a bit more that typical Samsung post-processing sharpening going on.
Gotcha. What about indoors or other lenses?
Indoors, honestly, they look visually identical with the main camera, ultra-wide. Both use identical 12-megapixel modules. Shots look the same, detail levels the same.
Any shared issues?
Yeah, both sometimes struggle a bit with exposure being slightly high. And we saw a weird purple tint on gray curtains in some test shots on both ultra-wides. Minor stuff.
Okay. Video.
Video, again, very similar. Both can do up to 8K 30fps, though we mostly compared 4K 30. Quality is pretty much identical from the main lens. Ultra-wide can do 4K 60 on both, also no real differences. Both can catch some lens flare sometimes, though.
Pretty standard.
Now, portrait mode. This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Edge detection is way better on both phones this year. Those blurry backgrounds look much more natural, big improvement.
Good. But the interesting part.
The kicker is zoom in portrait mode. Only the Plus lets you shoot portraits using a telephoto lens. Why? Because it's the only one that actually has a dedicated zoom lens.
Ah, the trade-off for thinness strikes again on the Edge.
Exactly. The Edge only offers 2x digital zoom in portrait mode because it physically lacks that telephoto hardware.
Makes sense.
Sure.
What about selfies?
Front cameras. Identical 12 megapixel units on both. Same photos, same video capabilities, up to 4K 60p's. Both have autofocus, which is great for vlogging.
Dynamic range, good.
Yeah, pretty good dynamic range on the front camera video, too.
Okay.
One little quirk, though. In low light, we noticed some face smoothing happening even with all the beauty filters turned off.
Something to be aware of if you like that au natural look.
Definitely. Keep that in mind.
So that really brings us back squarely to the zoom. That's the core camera difference, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's the defining hardware difference.
Right. The S25 Edge, to get that super slim profile, had to sacrifice a dedicated zoom lens, period. The S25 Plus, being a bit thicker, includes a dedicated 10 megapixel camera with proper 3x optical zoom.
And how does that play out in reality? Optical versus digital.
Well, here's a surprise. Comparing a 3x optical shot from the Plus to a 3x digital zoom shot from the Edge, sometimes the difference isn't as massive as you'd think.
Really?
Yeah, the Edge does some impressive processing. Even pushing it to 10x digital zoom on both, the photos can look quite similar in good light.
Okay, but there's a limit.
There is.
Yeah.
10x zoom is pretty much the max usable limit for the Edge. The Plus, because it starts with that optical advantage, can push much further, up to 30x zoom with reasonable results.
Oh, okay. So the bottom line on zoom is?
If you need serious zoom capability, like capturing things far away, clearly the Plus is definitely the one, no question. But for every day, casual zoom, maybe up to 5x or even 10x in good light, the Edge holds its own surprisingly well. The difference might not be a deal breaker for everyone.
What about low light performance between them?
Main cameras and low light. Pretty much identical photos, really good on both. But interestingly, the Edge's ultra-wide camera showed noticeably more noise in the dark compared to the Plus's ultra-wide.
Another small difference.
Yeah, and portrait mode in low light was weird. The Plus tended to smooth skin more, the Edge looked more natural, but weirdly, both completely messed up the blur on one specific spot in our test scene.
Right.
So, kind of flawed on both there.
And low light video.
Generally good from the main lens on both. Pretty stable, decent detail. But ultra-wide video in low light is rougher on both, simply because those sensors are smaller. That's a common limitation.
Okay, let's switch gears. Under the hood. Performance, software experience.
Right, the engine room.
Good news here for simplicity. Both Galaxies have the exact same chip, the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy.
Custom tuned chip.
And both come with a generous 12 gigs of RAM. Storage options are 256 GB or 512 GB. Both use super fast UFS 4.0 storage.
So no difference in read-write speeds, app loading should feel identical.
Pretty much. But real-world performance, especially under stress, that's where things got interesting.
The thermal's coming into play.
Looks like it. We saw really mixed results in gaming. Grid Legends both started well, but the Plus actually throttled hard, dropping down to just 20 FPS after a while. The Edge held up better there, surprisingly. But then in Withering Waves, the Edge struggled more, dipping to 43 FPS. And in Bloons TD6, which really pushes the CPU,
Oh yeah, that game is brutal.
the Edge basically choked, dropped to a crawl, like 4 FPS, and got really hot 52 degrees Celsius on the surface.
Ouch. Wow, that's toasty. So the Plus handled balloons better.
Much better, yeah. Stayed cooler and maintained higher frame rates.
Okay, so gaming is a mixed bag. Depends on the game and maybe how it stresses CPU versus GPU. What about productivity?
Here, the tables turned a bit. Exporting 99 photos in Lightroom, the Edge was actually faster by 21 seconds.
Interesting.
But rendering a 3-minute 4K video in CapCut, the Plus took the lead, finishing in 38 seconds versus 45 for the Edge. That's a noticeable difference if you do video editing.
7 seconds on a 3-minute clip adds up, definitely.
And opening a massive Excel file like 4 million cells massive, the Plus did it in 11 seconds, the Edge took 15.
So Plus wins on heavy video rendering and large file handling. Edge faster on that specific Lightroom task. Yeah.
What's going on there? Same chip.
Exactly. Same silicon. But our benchmark scores Geekbench 6, 3D Mark stress tests, and Tutu consistently showed the Plus performing better overall, especially under sustained loads.
So it comes back to heat.
It almost certainly has to. It's physics, basically. The Edge is super thin, which is great aesthetically, but there's just less room inside, less mass, less surface area maybe, to dissipate heat effectively, even with a vapor chamber.
Right. Can't beat physics.
You really can't. The Plus, being a bit thicker, just manages heat better. So the key insight here, especially for power users, gamers, anyone pushing the phone hard for long periods,
Right.
the Edge's slimness comes at a cost to sustain performance. It throttles more, gets hotter. The Plus offers a more consistent, probably more comfortable experience under heavy load because it handles heat better.
That makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
Okay, but day-to-day software experience, setting performance aside.
Identical.
Yeah.
Both running One UI 7 on top of Android 15. Smooth, feature-rich.
And the update promise is huge.
7 years.
Mm.
7 years of both OS updates and security updates. That's fantastic longevity.
Really is. You get all the new One UI 7 goodies, the look, the features, like now brief Samsung Dex for that desktop experience.
All the AI stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Generative edit, sketch to image in the gallery.
Yep, plus Google Gemini features, Circle to search. It's all there on both.
Any bloatware.
Yeah, there's some pre-installed stuff, as usual, with Samsung.
Right.
But it's mostly easy to uninstall, so not a huge deal.
Okay, good to know.
All right, let's get down to the bottom line then. Battery life, charging, and the big one, price.
Crucial factors.
And battery. This is another area where physics and that thin design really make a difference.
Let me guess. Edge has a smaller battery.
Yep. The S25 Edge packs well, kind of small, 3,900 milliamp battery.
Ooh. Yeah, that's modest for a phone this size today.
Right. In contrast, the S25 Plus has a much more standard, robust 4,900 milliamp cell. That's a 1,000 milliamp difference.
Well,
Six, I
huge
forget.
difference. That'll translate directly to screen on time. Plus, we'll last longer, no doubt.
Absolutely. If battery life is a top priority, that alone could be the decider, especially if you're like me and forget to charge sometimes.
Haha, yeah, that buffer helps. What about charging speeds?
Also different. The Edge only supports 25W wired charging. Took about 1 hour and 7 minutes for a full charge in our tests.
Okay, decent, but not super fast.
The Plus steps it up significantly with 45W charging, so it'll juice up much quicker when you plug it in.
That's a nice convenience on the Plus. Wireless charging.
Identical on both. Standard 15W wireless charging, and both can do reverse charging wired and wireless to top up your earbuds or watch.
Handy feature to have. Okay.
Yep.
So Edge has smaller battery, slower charging, Plus has bigger battery, faster charging. Now the price.
The price ties it all together. The S25 Edge, the super thin one, retails for $1,099 full price.
Premium price for that premium thinness.
Exactly. The S25 Plus comes in at $999.
Ah, so a clear $100 cheaper for the Plus.
$100 less.
Okay. So stepping back, looking at the whole picture, that price difference really frames the compromises, doesn't it? You're paying $100 more for the Edge, and in return, you get that slim design, but you sacrifice battery capacity, charging speed, a dedicated zoom lens, and potentially sustained performance due to thermals.
Precisely. It puts the value proposition into sharp focus. So we've
Yeah.
unpacked it all, taken that deep dive. What's the final takeaway? What does this mean for you, the listener, trying to choose?
Well, fundamentally, they are incredibly similar phones day to day, right?
Mm.
Same core software, same display quality, mostly similar main camera performance often.
Yeah, for basic use, they'll feel very alike. The only really big, tangible differences boil down to
That in hand, feel the super slim Edge versus the more standard Plus.
battery life, significantly better on the Plus.
The dedicated optical zoom on the Plus.
And of course, that $100 price difference.
So, who is each phone for?
I think for most people, honestly, the S25 Plus is probably the more sensible, the obvious choice.
I tend to agree.
You get longer battery life, which is huge. You get faster charging. You get that versatile optical zoom. And crucially, it costs less. It just seems like the better overall package, especially for power users or anyone who values endurance and versatility.
Makes sense. So the Edge is more niche.
I think so. The S25 Edge is really for someone who specifically prioritizes that super light, incredibly thin, ergonomic feel above almost everything else.
And is willing to pay a premium for it.
Exactly. You have to really want that unique slimness and design and be willing to accept the trade-offs in battery, charging, zoom, and maybe peak sustained performance. And have the cash to splurge on it. It's style and comfort maybe over raw power and longevity.
A very specific user profile,
You
then.
like it.
You know, this whole comparison raises a bigger question, I think, for you listening. Beyond just these two phones,
Oh yeah. What's that?
in this constant tech race to make devices thinner and lighter, how much are you personally willing to sacrifice for that ultimate slim design? Would you give up significant battery life or a key camera feature like optical zoom just to shave off a millimeter or a few grams, even if the price wasn't super high?
Mm.
What does that trade-off truly mean for how you actually use your phone every single day? Where's your personal line between sleekness and substance?
That's a great question. Definitely something to think about as you look at any new device, really.
Mm.
What matters most to your daily experience? Well, hopefully this deep dive has helped shed some light on these two specific options, the S25 Edge and S25 Plus, and given you the info you need.
Hope so.
Until next time, keep exploring those tech choices.